The BumbleKast is for entertainment purposes only. The host's comments and opinions, and those of their guests, are wholly their own and do not represent that of any other entity. Content is provided as is, with no guarantees of accuracy or timeliness.
Welcome to the BumbleKast. I'm your host, Ian Flynn, the Bumble King, and joining me as always is my Bumble co-host, Kyle, JCRB Krause.
Hey, we're here, and Ian is on like a light switch, I tell you.
It's the only bright thing about me.
Just click, and all of a sudden, whoa, Ian's here. He is alive. We are ready to go.
Well, that's because we have all these questions that come from our patrons over at patreon.com/BumbleKast, Ko-fi.com/BumbleKast, and our YouTube members. They must be answered.
Yes, indeed. We're still keeping things going here. Despite everything, we're still here. Anyway, let's start off with this one from First Swagmaster E. How would you have handled King in Archie Mega Man? He's always been an interesting but underutilized character in the series, and with the right writing, it could be like Mega Man's Magneto.
I remember doing the early research and going, oh, King seems neat. I have forgotten most of that.
Yeah.
I would love the opportunity and the excuse to go back and re-research, but the thing with King is, from what I remember about him, you're right, he could be a really interesting character, but he never shows up again. So if you lean into the potential, then it begs the question of, well, what happens afterwards? You don't want to set up this really cool antagonistic character and then never use anything with them again, Capcom. But at the same time, you know, folks remember him for a reason and would want good things from him. So you don't want to undercut him or downplay him, because then it's like you're doing it a disservice. So off the cuff, I'm not sure what I would do with him. And it's been a long time since I looked at my long-term plans for the series. So I don't know. Fingers crossed I will get the opportunity and reason to figure that out, but that is not something I have immediately on hand.
Well, I mean, how much is after Mega Man 8? You got 9, 10, 11, and I guess Mega Man and Base is where King is from, not even Mega Man 8. So
yeah,
I'm not sure where Mega Man and Base fits into the chronology.
It would have to be after 8, because 8 is where Base first shows up and he gives the
7
presence. 7 is?
Yes.
I always get that mixed up.
Yeah.
And this, kids, is why we do our research. Okay, so yeah.
Yeah, I'm not so sure, because I think 7 came
Power
out.
Fighters has to go in there somewhere.
Yeah, I think 7 came out, then 8 on PlayStation, and then for some reason they went back and did Mega Man and Base on Super Nintendo after. I think it's very weird.
Is King in Power Fighters, or am I making that up entirely?
I am not sure.
Also, Battle and Chase is in there somewhere.
I mean, I guess if you want it to be.
Oh, Kyle, I want them all.
I know you want them all. I mean, that's kind of your thing, but still.
I had plans for the DOS games if I could get away with it. Probably not. But.
You want to have Waveman and Waveman pointing at each other? Spider-Man style?
Now, I know that because when we did the various flash forward issues, we tried to reference Mega Man and Base 2, but we couldn't touch the Wonder Swan material.
Okay, yeah.
And if that was unavailable, I'm willing to bet the DOS games were unavailable as well. I'd still try, though.
Yep, you could try. You could try. Here's a question from Andrew D. It's another anti-Mega Man story. This time, it's Legends of the Blue Bomber. Mega Man defeated the rogue robot masters and retrieved the energy elements to power Gamma. Meanwhile, Wily, who had obtained the IC chips and weapon data of several of his robot masters, installed them into the new Doc robot, and alongside Breakman, attacked the Light family. Mega Man realized that maybe Wily was lying about Ramoon, and after failing to contact Light Labs, rushed home. How does this all play out?
This is getting increasingly harder because Wily is going more and more villain, which is harder to spin positively.
Yeah, Yeah, if you were actively doing this, you would have made the events play out more differently, I think.
Yeah, we're kind of playing this by ears, but
you're railroaded into the what you've set up already for an arc, no matter what. So
I guess here, because at this point we've established within the Bumble canon that Auntie Wiley, didn't we say he was playing nice with Light for the long con?
Think so.
So I guess at this point, him stealing Gamma and creating Doc Robot and making a big move is because he knows what Light's going to do with Gamma. And he's making the preemptive strike because it's going to go bad if he doesn't do something. So Doc Robot and Breakman and all that is Wily's technically attack, but it's for the greater good. And Mega Man is anti-Mega Man specifically is rushing back to find out what happened this time. Stupid old Santa Man can't keep control of your stupid robots. I have to fix this again.
Well, I guess that's that then. We'll see how the next arc plays out.
The Rogue Robot Master stealing the energy elements is again maybe Wily trying to buy for time, or he's trying to distract Mega Man, lead him far afield so he can be more proactive in securing Gamma to protect everybody. That makes enough sense, right? Right?
Sure.
Crazy? You're crazy.
We'll go with
Who's
that.
talking?
Well, yeah. Who's talking? I'm the voice in your head that's been here the whole time, Ian.
Which one?
I live in your head. I mean, there's like a million people who live rent-free, or, well, no, they have you living rent-free in their head. You don't have them living rent-free in yours.
And the upholstery is just awful there. And who installed these curtains? Anyway.
It's so nice that you have so many different heads you can move to whenever you need to.
Fired from one head cannon into the next. Fire me, boy.
It's true. And Tails asks, name a writing or grammar preference you'd defend to the death. For me, it's either worshipping the Oxford comma or my opposition to ending sentences with certain prepositions.
I'm not super beholden to any particular rule because I feel like that's a fool's errand. Language is constantly evolving. The English we speak today is the result of hundreds and thousands of years of it metamorphosizing, adapting new elements, dropping elements as they fall out of vogue. Certain constructions are needed to be coherent today, for sure, but I don't get as in a tizzy over some stuff just because it's changing. We're watching the language evolve in real time, and you can either accept it and adapt or be a curmudgeon and be mocked by the young people who the thing that the hill I die on is the misuse of words, because yes, the meaning of words can change over time, but that doesn't mean when they're wrong. Like so angry when they changed it so that literally could mean figuratively because it's been misused so much. No, I draw the line here. Literally is the opposite of figuratively. If you use it as hyperbole, that does not mean that it can be used figuratively. It's the antithesis of the very meaning of the word. The word loses any meaning at that point.
Yes. Anyway.
Like the first time I heard it's a dog world, is like, that's funny. No, people think that's the expression.
No, I know.
It's not a diamond dozen. Although that one I will concede some ground because I believe you could use some mental gymnastics to arrive to the same general meaning, that diamonds are so devalued that they are, accessible by the dozen versus a dime a dozen, the correct use of the phrase, meaning that it's so cheap you can purchase a dozen of them for just 10 cents. That one I will concede. It's not dog eat dog. It's dog eat dog. Just read a book.
Yeah, no. doggy dog should only be used in reference to Snoop.
Yes.
And even then, that's his old name, not his current name. Mine is probably, I don't know. I'm kind of like, I get hung up on apostrophes. Like your and your, it's, and it's. It's kind of annoying.
I mean, that one, it's because it changes the meaning of the word.
There, and there, yeah.
Which comes back to my pet peeve is it's the meaning of the word.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just use them interchangeably because that's not the word.
Yeah.
At that, if you're going to go that route, you might as well just say everything is double plus good. All right. Just.
Yep. Everything is double plus good. So what are you going to do about it?
I don't know. Probably more duck speak.
Oh, okay. And what about starting sentences with and?
Again, that and ending them with a preposition are ones I'm not ardently against. I understand why you shouldn't typically do it. If you can find a different way to approach it, it does sound better, but sometimes it just works, and I don't think it's the end of the world.
Yeah, I don't mind. And at the beginning of sentences doesn't bother me. I don't care.
I think it can be used for emphasis, but
yes,
depends on the situation.
Apparently it's allowed according to current grammar rules now. So,
well, there's the evolution I was talking about.
You just have to be super elite like me.
Hi, Jen. All right, let's move on to this one from Caleb. You are hired as a game director for a Souls-like video game adaptation of Watership Down. You have complete creative control of the project. How does it turn out?
It may not be as inspired a choice, depending on who you ask, but I would want to maybe try to follow the direction of the animated adaptation to make something that looks like a playable animated sequence. Because if you can nail that art style, it can be used very effectively. And I think what a lot of people associate with Watership Down is the visuals of the animated version. So if you can manage to recreate that in the game engine and make it feel natural, I think that would lend itself to just the general atmosphere and the feel of the game itself. And I would keep it largely open world. I'm thinking Elden Ring-ish, something where you're meant to explore and kind of blunder around and find your own way.
Well, that is a Souls-like game, so yeah.
Some more so than others, but maybe not follow the narrative itself, but more the spirit of it. Because if you have an open world game, it's harder to follow an actual linear narrative, and I don't think you can do a proper adaptation without railroading the player.
Yeah.
So maybe something that's just more in that kind of dire, unforgiving scenario. And you are a rabbit out in the wild, and there are things that predate on rabbits in the wild.
Yummy.
And give it a little bit of that character focus, a little bit of a more combat oriented, because you said Souls-like, so you want to be able to fight back, but there's that futility in it as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want it to be a full nature sim, because I feel like that loses what the intention of this scenario is. But at the same time, you don't want to run 5 feet and get attacked by a hawk or an eagle. Turn around, squee! Oh no, it's this thing again.
Oh,
it needs to feel balanced between you're running around as a rabbit, but you're also trying to achieve some objective.
Yeah. All right.
But I just imagine being dropped out into that field, that gray, unwelcoming field with a kind of dry rattle of the grass around you that almost obscures you, but not totally. And you see that big open sky, and you know there can be things up there that you can't see. And it's up to you to make that first step out. I feel like that would be kind of harrowing. That might be kind of neat, actually.
That's scary. I've still never seen Watership Down. Or read it, I suppose. Either. Maybe I should do that one of these days. Throw it on the pile.
For some easy feel-good reading or watching.
For some light feel-good watching. Yes. Comic the Hedgehog has a question. Flintheart Glomgold buys out the BumbleKast and demands that the show be all about him. How will you go about doing the Glomcast until the check inevitably bounces?
Oh, this is such an easy setup. See, he kicks in the door and he's all boisterous and he's, I own everything new. And it's like, yes, sir, Mr. Glomgold. So happy to have you here, sir. Can't wait for your vision to just lead the BumbleKast to success. Butter him up 100%.
Yep, absolutely.
And then just praise how versatile he is in his skills, because surely a man of his talent and expertise can run the mics and do the uploads and manage everything else, and trick him into doing the show by himself.
Okay, no, neither of us. Okay,
no, we just sit back and wait for him. We give him enough rope and let him hang himself.
His inevitable implosion. Yes, I guess that's true. So yeah.
I give it a day at most, and then he gets frustrated, decides that he doesn't want it anymore. This whole endeavor is worthless, and we're like, well, we'll take it off your hands, but since this is obviously a loss for us, you're going to have to pay us to take the show back. And so we get whatever pittance we have for it, and he storms out, and we go back to normal.
We might be able to.
And then we make fun of him about it because he doesn't listen to the show.
We might have this scenario on our hands sooner than later. DDRMM has a question. Kirby Sakai time. He lands in a universe of Ian's work of his choosing. What happens?
He lands in the 9 Lives of Claus McGee.
Okay.
And is generally having a good time, just chilling out and, fishing, enjoying naps, having a lovely time. And then through some mistake or another, he ends up inhaling the Jangle Bell. And every time he hiccups, he goes to a different world.
That seems like a bad idea.
Well, no, because every time he shows up, he's going to end up solving whatever problem he gets to because he's Kirby.
Well, I guess that's true, yeah.
And eventually he hiccup Poyos his way to Dark Lord Claus's dimension. And that's the bad one. And he just inhales all the bad guys and saves that world.
Well, there you go. He eventually hiccups so hard he ends up in Drogoon.
Well, let's save that for another episode.
Double L says, by book, yes, but also has the continuation of the longest text adventure of our lives. To recap, me and Ian share a body. We are in a room. There are 2 doors, a bed, and a window. 2 humans are outside. A friendly mouse is under the bed. We have 5 dust bunnies in our inventory. My previous action was offer mouse a hand or perch, and then Ian's last action was ask Deli about access and skills. So to resolve my action, as you begin to reach forward, the bald man from behind the window says, "Free to wo we ka itan drana in yadina?" Deli translates.
He's asking what's under the bed. Maybe best we don't bring too much attention to me for now. I'll hop on once the smooth skins are gone.
And then to resolve Ian's action, with the reminder that there are eyes on you, you whisper the question.
My skills include being small, translating, and slowly digging through walls. As for this place, I actually don't know too much. One day I'm recording a podcast about one of them Final Fantasies. Next time a tiny thing in a cage. I got it out a long time ago, though. Lots happened, but now I'm a parent living in a wall. My little home doesn't connect to anything right now, seeing as I'm trying to stay safe. But you give me time, I could maybe get a me-sized tunnel going. That is, once again, as soon as we're alone.
The bald man watching you begins to tap on the glass. The annoying sound echoes through the room as if amplified.
It was also established that we're some kind of large gator man.
It seems so, yes.
So I'm quite tempted to throw the bed at the glass to see if we can just break through and scare the crap out of it.
Well, you know what? We're on the same page. So
should we just share that action to see if we get
I think so, yeah. I feel like, we can sit here and wait for Deli to dig a hole, a tiny hole that only he can get through anyway. Or, we can, actually do something and see what happens.
Like, I'm sure we could play the long con and have him tunnel away to the key circuit in the door.
Yeah.
And get us out, or unscrew the deadbolt, or yada, yada, yada. But these people kind of getting on my nerves.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
As long as the bed isn't like bolted to the floor.
Yeah.
We've been playing it safe. Let's wreck some stuff.
Let's go a little crazy. Let's go crazy. We will share that action. All right. Dove asks, Ian, what sort of dinosaurs or dinosaur-like creatures would be found in the history of Drogoon?
Okay, bear with me. This is actually a longer answer than I anticipated. And then I was thinking about it. It's like, I'm long-winded. Anyway, okay, so number one.
Are you surprised? I'm not.
A little bit. But so Drogoon is, my project. I put all the things I like into it, and I like dinosaurs. So it's like, why not put dinosaurs in Drogoon? And I stopped because I don't want just dinosaurs. That's too simple. That doesn't make sense within the context of the world and the formation of the various species and whatnot. And the other animals and flora and fauna I have in mind don't mesh with that either. It's a real world element kind of dropped in there just for funsies. And that's a little too lax for me. So, and if we're going to have fantasy dinosaurs, well, then it's fantasy animals anyway. I can go crazier than that. So I'm not having like dinosaurs in it. That can be for another project. However, and here's the long part of the story. Way back when I was a wee one, there was a special on like PBS or something talking about dinosaurs, and yay! And it wrapped up with my favorite dinosaur, which is the Troodon, and talking about how it exhibited all these very advanced features, and what if it evolved into a hominid? And the model that they made for it was absolutely terrifying. But it's like a full body thing, and it was like underlit and everything. And as a small child who was already kind of spooked by greys and other alien-like life forms, that thing scarred me for a long time. Fast forward about 10 years, and they did another special, which was voiced by Walter Cronkite, and super into it, loved the thing. And then to my shock and horror, the very end of the whole segment is a spoof of a possible future where humanity goes extinct. The avian species return to terrestrial dinosaur form and evolve into hominids. And they use that kind of design, and they put Walter Cronkite in a rubber suit as this Dino Man giving the report, which in hindsight is hilarious.
That is funny.
But as someone who was deeply traumatized as a small child by this thing, to see it as almost a jump scare, wasn't happy about it. Fast forward 30 years later, and I've grown up, I've gotten over it, and the very concept of what if the Troodon, this incredibly intelligent creature with opposable thumbs and potentially chimp-level intelligence, had gone that route. What if there had been actual Homo saurians, or whatever you would call these things? I love that concept. Dino people is just cool by itself.
Uh-huh.
That's basically what the Orgusk are. They are dino people. They have dino attributes, they have reptilian attributes, they have avian attributes. They're my version of this horrible, bug-eyed, scaly-skinned thing. So that is the short answer, Dove, is dino people are cool, and that's what the Orgusk are. Long answer is childhood trauma.
I'm getting real Super Mario Brothers movie vibes from this. As in, what if dinosaurs evolved into intelligent human-like beings? Interesting. Also, this picture looks like the meme, "Don't talk to me or my son ever again." All right, next question is from Flint Toaster. Do you hate the existence of Toy Story 4 as much as I do? How it character assassinated everyone, mocked fans of the franchise, and destroyed the world building and integrity of the characters? There is a correct answer.
I never saw it.
Me neither.
Because I didn't feel like it needed to be.
It doesn't seem like it needs to exist. I even question like the existence of a third one, honestly. Like,
yeah, the third one I will forgive insofar as it did bring a kind of sense of conclusion.
That's what it felt. Yeah.
Andy handed off the toys. He grew up and he moved on, but the legacy of beloved toys continues, and you get this kind of theme of it, life goes on. That's fine. It didn't need to be, but I wasn't offended by it.
Yeah.
There wasn't any room for a 4. I didn't go watch it.
Yeah. I didn't see it at all. So sorry it ruined your childhood.
I mean, I can't lambaste it because I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's not fair. But if it's any validation, Flint Toaster, I didn't see it because I don't feel like supporting that kind of thing. So at least there's solidarity in your opinion there?
Yeah. You get a feeling that like something's just kind of like, yeah, that's a good stopping point. But then they keep milking it. And it's like, well, this ain't what I want. But what I do want is to answer this question from Godzilla. It's been revealed that the next Godzilla and Kong film is Godzilla x Kong Supernova. Most fans are hoping for an extraterrestrial angle with the appearance of Space Godzilla or Gigan. But I'm thinking it might be code for Godzilla going boom, as we all know supernova is when a star explodes. And the Iwi of Skull Island refer to Godzilla as the one who swallowed a star. Or maybe it's both. Maybe Sam Neill will be playing the controller of Planet X. What would you rather them do?
I honestly don't know. I didn't see the last Godzilla Kong because the trailers made it look goofy.
It's very entertaining. I kind of liked it. It was very goofy, but you know what? I was kind of into it.
I mean, I understand we have our big monsters and the big monsters going to fight. It's inherently goofy, yes, but like I still defend the first Godzilla remake they did. Yeah, it was slow paced. Yeah, you didn't get a lot of the monsters, but what was there was incredible. The Muto fights I thought were spectacular. The sense of weight and size and scope to Godzilla was exquisite, and he had just enough personality to be entertaining, but he was still a monster. So I give it a lot of slack.
Yeah.
The second one I feel like was a waste of a lot of opportunity. There were so many close angle shots you couldn't tell what was going on with half the fights, and again, the people were just superfluous. Why are you here? Give me the monster fight. And I felt like some of the personifications, like Rodan had too much personality. He was too much of a character. You're supposed to be a kaiju. The third movie, that I felt like was the perfect balance. There was enough personality between Kong and Godzilla that they felt like characters, but also kaiju. The fights were clear and interesting and well choreographed. They blazed through the science fiction pseudo babble to explain Mechagodzilla, whatever. We got the team up fight. It was pretty darn cool. It was fine. Fourth one, he's got a mecha hand. Godzilla's pink now. There's a whole monkey kingdom. I guess there's a giant ice dragon. It's like the scene that kind of killed it for me is when they're in Giza and Godzilla's coming in to like do the big jump off the top rope, and Kong's looking at the pyramid going, no, we can't break it. And it's like, no. That's two kids in the backyard, and the one going, no, we're going to break mom's like bird bath. Stop, Todd, you're being too rough.
That was the best part of the movie. It was funny as heck. That's the best part.
It's not what I want. I'm not faulting it per se. I'm just saying it's not in the wheel. It's not where I want the movie to be. So
it's big, supernova, dumb, bombastic, stupid. It's great.
Now, if it's going to go like the one prediction you have where he blows up, which movie was that? Was it Godzilla versus Destroya? When he goes kaboom and his child gets evolved into full Godzilla?
Might have been Destroya, I think so, yeah.
And that, I wasn't super fond of that particular angle myself, and I wouldn't want to see it revisited. And if Godzilla goes nuclear and blows up, what do you do with that? I don't know. Where do you go with that? Because you're not going to kill off Godzilla.
Mm.
You will not kill this goose for the golden eggs. You know they're not going to do that. So,
well, kill him off and then bring him back a movie later. Like, come on.
Maybe Death of Superman, but with Godzilla.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
We have 4 different Godzillas in the next film. You get Cyborg Godzilla.
Yes.
You get Eliminator Godzilla. You get Superboy Godzilla.
Yes.
Ninja in a little leather jacket.
Yes. Do it.
Shaquille O'Neal as Godzilla.
That's all right. Let's go. Bring back.
Never mind. That's what I want from Supernova.
Bring back Charles Barkley and recreate that commercial from the 90s. Godzilla versus Charles Barkley.
Yes, absolutely.
But Godzilla is just Shaq. Perfect.
Oh, and Kong's there too, I guess.
I guess. He's just there. All right, I think that's a good point to take a quick break. We'll come back with more on this episode of the BumbleKast.
Double L has a book out and hates long ad reads. Go read Masters of the System, Jenna Sisters, a sci-fi take on the 90s console war. It's at llbryant.ca/books. Link in the description.
We're the bee and the berry. I'm the bee.
Straubs. No, I'm the bee.
Oh, my bad. We can get that right.
No, we can get that.
Okay. We're the bee and the berry.
I'm the bee.
And I'm Strawberry.
And The Bee and the Berry is an irregularly scheduled podcast where we talk all things Sonic, writing fan fiction, and fan creation.
We snoop around at fan events, review the latest and hottest Sonic content, and host interviews with our fellow Sonic fan creators.
Just girly things.
And hey, if you want, you can totally send us any discussion topics or questions you'd like us to talk about, and we might answer them.
Or we might not.
But hey, you never know. You can find us on Twitter, Blue Sky, Tumblr, and YouTube at The Bee the Berry.
Okay, we're running out of time here. Gotta grow fast.
Ciao!
We're back with a question from Hero Squad. Waluigi and the Truman Show. How does it go?
Good morning. And if I don't see you later, sucks to be you.
Yeah, it goes pretty much the same, I would assume. Including him sailing a boat into the end of the world. And the voice of God rings down.
His best friend is Wario trying to sell various products from WarioWare. Bing bong. Suddenly it's a WarioWare minigame.
Yes.
Oh, that kooky neighbor friend of his who's always throwing mini games at him.
Who is God in this scenario?
It's me, the creator.
The creator, yeah. Or it could be Master Hand. That would be weird.
That's
a little too meta, though, maybe. Or maybe it's... maybe it's Shigeru Miyamoto.
Creator.
We went a little literal.
Or you go full meta and play it absolutely straight and show the actual range of Waluigi. And he does an actual tear-jerking performance.
Yes.
You're like, wait, he can actually act? When did this happen?
He's had it in him the whole time. Either way, as long as Waluigi covers his face in the word blue with a pen, then we're good. Oh, wait, that's Liar Liar. Never mind. Wrong Jim Carrey movie. I don't know.
Let's do all the Carrey movies with Waluigi. Why not?
I don't know. Jim Carrey's the same character in almost every movie he's in. Almost.
Jim Carrey could do a very good Waluigi, so.
Probably. All right, Knuckles Omega has a question. How would a Gundam crossover with Outlaw Star go? In space, I would assume.
I don't know, because there's a million flavors of Gundam out there, and I am more inclined to go with OG Gundam level tech, something that is a little more grounded.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure if I'd want to see it as like the technology coexists, so you have the grappler ships alongside the Gundams, or if the Gundams replace it so that the grappler ships are like transforming Gundams or something. Which is more interesting? Which is more fun? I mean, I guess when you get down to it, Jean piloting the Outlaw Star and getting into a fist fight with Char and Izaku might be more fun in the end. Maybe getting hired as like an escort for White Base. Jean not wanting to get involved with any of these politics. He's just taking a job, and they're like, but no, it's for the colonies on Earth. And he's like, I don't care. Trying very hard to not care. And Asia's complaining about how the Katara Empire could just wipe the floor with both sides of this conflict. Are they going to have to get involved? And Melfino just wants everyone to be friends. Would she count as a new type?
I have no idea. You're asking the wrong person. I have no idea what you're talking about, to be honest with you.
I mean, would she be like concurrent enough, or would they raise that question and never actually answer it? All right, it takes place in the same universe, let's say, and just like we're going to ignore the fact that it's an interplanetary series in Outlaw Star, and just say that colonization went further out, and the Earth conflict is very focused on the sides and them, and they just don't talk about the multiple planetary colonies out there, which kind of defeats the purpose of the sides. But look, let's just go back to the fist fight between the Outlaw Star and Char and his mecha, okay? I think that's what we really are here for.
Okay. Sure. And Major Bunny has a question. I would like for you both to pick a TV show, game, or movie that you like where everything is the same, but a character of your choosing is now a magical girl. What happens?
Ned Stark survives Game of Thrones.
As a magical girl?
Yes.
Okay.
Executioner brings down the sword, Moon Prism power activates. Everything changes.
Uh-huh.
Daenerys says Dracarys, and you get a whole transformation sequence.
Sure, we'll go with that. Marty McFly in Back to the Future.
Okay.
Why? I don't know. See what happens.
Heavy, man.
How it goes. See how it goes. I don't know what would happen in that instance, but boy, it'd be wild.
Doc's looking him over. Who the hell dressed you like that? You did, Doc.
I don't remember that.
Marty has to get to 88 miles per hour before he can transform.
There you go. That's the whole point. There you go. All right. And of course, Marty gets the hoverboard.
Well, yeah.
You gotta have the hoverboard.
Absolutely.
Here's a question from Noni. What sort of foods are the Drogoon cast's favorites, and what are the flavor profiles of said foods?
Wind will eat nigh upon anything. Like, she'll put ketchup on her well-done steak. She will have a big glass of orange juice with her chocolate cereal. She'll eat anything and be happy. And then she'll eat whatever you're having, whatever that table over there is having. And you're going to finish that? Too bad. She's having it. It's hers. She's
now.
a garbage disposal. Foreign has a taste for actual cuisine and is a decent enough cook that he can potentially make it himself. It's just he's casting pearls before swine with the rest of the crew. Why does he even bother? When's going to eat it regardless? So he'll make do. Well, I mean, like he likes actual food. He wants it cooked. He wants it properly seasoned. He'll, it doesn't even necessarily have to be fancy. Just a nice cut of meat, some fresh greens with a simple vinaigrette, maybe an appropriate wine pairing if he has the time. He just wants something that's, food, not rations.
In other words, he's boring.
Not the cauldron of porridge they made because that's all they can afford, and it's going to fill up the two young Drogoon who will otherwise eat everything in the pantry.
Yeah, well,
Lissy's favorite food is pancakes. Not pancakes, pancakes.
Pancakes, yes.
Because that's how she said it wrong the first time. They thought it was so cute they weren't going to correct her, so it's pancakes now.
Good.
And she likes a lot of very simple stuff, like fresh fruit, fresh veggies, lots of starchy stuff, simple bread, butter, pancakes. Mostly because she hasn't had an opportunity to have anything more complex, but she just likes it simple. She likes it flavorful, and she will also eat you out of house and home. She's not quite like Wind. Like, you know those fries, they have the seasoning packet that you shake in there to season those fries?
Yeah.
Yeah, she'll eat the fries first and then eat the seasoning straight, like a pixie stick.
Okay.
Lissy's not quite like that. Wind will eat something so hot it makes her cry and ask for seconds. Lissy's not really into that. Wind wants something so sweet it actually gives her a headache. Lissy has a little more restraint. She'll have only a small bite, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Jobun, the Droff don't need to eat. It's more of a texture thing. So he'll have something that crunches nicely or has a satisfying chew. A while back, somebody bought him a really nice box of cigars and he ate them like candy.
Okay.
The guy was like, you just ate it. I was like, hey, bye, thanks. Yeah, well, as long as you enjoyed it, big guy, okay.
I guess.
But he's like philosophically opposed to bubble gum. Because all you do is you chew and you make a mess. It just gets gooey. And you keep chewing it until you stop chewing it. It's the stupidest thing. What kind of food is that? It's one you don't even eat. You fleshy types are idiots.
I mean, he's right, but yeah. Onyxodon has a bit of a wordy question here. It's the third and final season of The Empire's Worst, Ian's comedy Star Wars show starring the bumbling ex-Imperial and quote-unquote undercover operative Ian Flynn and his somewhat loyal prodigal droid, KY-13. The no-nonsense supervisor Aaliyah Baker and her plucky astromech J3N. After an operation left you guys frozen in carbonite for about 30 years, you wake up shortly before the events of Episode 7, when the galaxy changed for the worst. With the rise of the First Order and the fall of the New Republic, ex-Imperial Flynn is faced with a difficult choice. Does he stick to his Imperial diehard ways and side with the emerging First Order, formed from the Empire's ashes? Or does he pick up the romantic subplot from the previous season and let his growing affection for his superior cause him to join the Resistance? Which droid tragically sacrifices themselves? J3N on her loyalty to the Republic? Or KY-13 on having no job security? And how do they defeat one of the First Order's top military officers, General Rye?
So we come out of carbonite.
Uh-huh.
I don't know why you're freezing a droid in carbonite.
Yeah, I don't know why.
At least they're thorough.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe you just kind of fell into the vat with me. And so you're extra salty.
I would be that stupid, yes.
And so here I am, the idiot Imperial operative who got tricked into joining the rebellion by thinking I was a counter operative. And here's the new order, except it's the same as the old order.
Mm-hmm.
They got the same uniforms. They got the same tech, same hierarchy. Still got some dude in a crazy helmet and cape with a beam sword. Are you sure this isn't the Empire? And that's the running gag, because I cannot differentiate New Order from Empire because they're the same stupid thing. And, you know, the Resistance is the rebellion again.
Yeah.
But they already know that they can play me like a fiddle. So it's like, okay, what we need you to do is to go into this offshoot faction that's calling themselves the New Order, but they're really trying to take the thunder out of the real Empire. So we need you to go in there and be the counter operative to all this. You got that? No. Good. Go for it. And so you, my trusty droid, who are just so sick of this, and just want to see me dead, but end the pain. The carbonite didn't finish me off. You're going to find a way. Maybe it's an empty elevator shaft. You're going to find a way. You're a patient droid. We're going around. I'm bumbling my way through things. We find the Starkiller Base 2 because they have no original ideas.
Of course not.
This is being overseen by Grand Moff General Darth Rye. And you get your opportunity. I'm in a slap fight with Rye because I think I'm saving the Empire. He's going, we are the Empire, you idiot. Then why are you called the New Order? You got the name wrong. And you see the reactor shaft, and you're like, I remember Return of the Jedi. Let's go. And we all three go tumbling down into the Kyber reactor. Boom goes the Death Planet. We save the whole galaxy. We're remembered as heroes. The end.
And then in 30 years, they'll the franchise will get sold to another conglomerate, and they'll revive it for another 30. We'll revive it again for another chance to go.
No, it's worse than that. We're actually so beloved in our tragic demises that the Disney Plus series is greenlit. And
Oh, no.
Oops, I got cloned. And your code had a backup, so you just get a fresh new droid body. Here we go again.
Here we go. Oh, man. Oh, man. Fine. Whatever. Here's one from Soulslayer7. I figured I would just take this time to be polite. Hey, Ian. Hey, Kyle. How are you guys? How has life been treating you?
Well, you know what? Thank you very much. That's very kind of you.
It's very nice of you to
best life.
to
I hope you're
ask.
having a grand time. You and yours.
Yes.
Not going to go into too much detail, but it's been a rough year for me, for everyone I care about, for the state of the world. I'm tired.
Uh-huh.
But I try to remember and put things in perspective / guilt myself with the fact that I have a roof over my head. I have ready access to water and food and internet and work. I have family and friends that love and support. I have a job that I greatly enjoy and can do mostly on my own schedule. It could be a whole lot worse.
Yeah. That said, this year still sucks.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Doesn't change the fact that it's been rough, but it could be a whole lot rougher, and I do appreciate what I have.
It has been a bit of a year.
Mm.
And it's been like a decade and 6 months, feels like.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but thank you, Soulslayer7. Appreciate you asking. Hope everything's going okay for you. Speedweed asks, in a similar vein to the last question, the fact that Ravenbeak and Motherbrain's plans are almost word for word one and the same brings up some really interesting questions. And one for you to ponder is, were there tensions brewing between Thoha and Malkin before SR388?
Again, it's been a while since I went through Dread, but I thought that was the implication.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like the Thoha were of the opinion of, well, we're not going to be violent and confrontational because that's what they want. But by being pacifistic, the Malkin kind of did whatever they wanted. So, whoops. But that's my recollection. That may not be 100% on point. I'm taking you at your word that Razorbeak and Motherbrain's plans were so close to one another, because I don't remember a lot of dialogue from Motherbrain, but maybe that's some of like the manual material that I'm not familiar with, which begs the question, is Motherbrain a continuation of his plan or some kind of revival, or do terrible minds think alike? I don't know.
I just wish Motherbrain was the one from Captain N.
No, that's okay.
Yeah. The Oddly Roger asks, Teen Girl Squad as a magical girl anime. Go!
Yes, please.
Yes! This is all I wanted. Did they cross over with Stinko Man? They have to.
Yeah, eventually. I'm thinking that their primary antagonist is Brain Krieg,
Yes.
which is just the anti-magical girl squad. And they collectively transform by going jugga jugga wugga, and they turn into their monster forms.
Perfect.
So it's time for the Teen Girl Squad to transform, and you've got cheerleader, and by declaring this, she transforms into a cheerleader-styled magical girl. So-and-so, and she transforms into a similar one. What's her face? And she doesn't transform at all. It's the exact same look, even though she goes through the sequence. The ugly one! And she just is like the most hardcore metal looking. She's absolutely out of theme, but still badass. She looks like she fit in with Brain Krieg more than anything.
Good.
And there's no actual like direct confrontation. There's all those non sequiturs that just happen to show up and take out everybody.
Of course.
And each episode resets. There's no acknowledgement. There's no continuity. And all of this is still done on the notebook paper. So when they cross over with Stinko Man, they're all really thrown off because now they have color. There's actual effects when they transform. They have depth, at least physically.
Well, there was that one time they had color and then did like a spin around camera while going, so good. Yeah. Yes. Either way, I want to see this.
And maybe the Stinko Man version of Marzipan actually gets to do something.
Boy, wouldn't that be something? This is what we want. The Cyberspace Coco asks, congrats on the release of the DC and nondescript Blue Rat crossover. To celebrate, let's discuss how you do a crossover between their rival properties, Marvel and Mario. Some ideas include the Mario Brothers teaming up with the Avengers, Yoshi using his tongue to swing around the city with Spider-Man, Wario and Waluigi hanging out with the disgruntled Logan and the rest of the X-Men, and Toad teams up with the Punisher. How does it go? Why wouldn't Toad team up with Toad?
I mean, again, you're kind of answering the question for us.
Yeah.
Let's see. Although the idea of Mario Toad with like the skull pattern on his mushroom cap is really funny.
That is funny.
I don't know. Maybe Bowser founds a new version of the Sinister Six.
Could have
he gets a little. He recruits too many villains, so there's more than 6.
Could say it's a Yoshi versus Toad. I could see, X-Men Toad. Little some tongue action. A little weird, but Yeah,
I guess Mario and Luigi with the Avengers, and Mario's going to pick up the hammer with no issue. And Luigi's eyeing it because he wants to try, but he doesn't want to be embarrassed if he can't lift it. But he wants to try, but he doesn't want to get embarrassed if he can't lift it. And so in the big ultimate fight with like Ultron Bowser, Luigi has to pick it up, and he gets the full powers of Thor, like little wings on his hat. And
yeah.
basically, it's all the Super Mario World power-ups plus the hammer.
Yes. Because Luigi freaking rules, of course. I'm ready. Call Ian, Marvel, and Nintendo. And our last question is from Twilord. Noob Saibot finds himself in the Mario universe. How does it go? And we're going Mortal Kombat crossing over with Mario.
Get over here. Ha ha! Fatality. Mario wins. So long, Bowser. Oh.
Oh no.
God, the scream Toad would make. I guess the question is, what is Noob Saibot's goal? What does he want?
He's getting isekai'd is the whole concept of this.
Sure. But he still needs a central motivating factor, and I'm not 100% up to date on what the new Mortal Kombat Noob Saibot wants. Like, he got converted against his will, but he seemed to retain his persona by the end of it. So is it just that he wants the domination of the Lin Kuei? In which case, I mean, he still wants to, he has a penchant for allying with the bad guys for an easy power grab. So I guess he's going to try to impose the Cyber Lin Kuei mentality on the Koopa Troop. So you've got a bunch of the most hardcore cyborg Koopa Troopas you can imagine.
I mean, I'm down. They wear armor sometimes. Put them in cyber armor, yeah.
Imagine the Koopa brothers from Paper Mario, but with like the full multicolored ninja gi.
Amazing.
And Bowser's just kind of sitting there going, I don't know if I like this. This is a little dark even for me.
I'm glad it's Jack Black Bowser.
Yeah, it's gotta be. Kamek, he's kind of magical. Can you get like a read on him? I don't want to touch that, sir.
Ooh, weird.
And then, Noob Saibot leads his Koopa Lin Kuei. Lin Koopa? I don't know. to storm the Mushroom Kingdom, and here comes Mario, and what is this little portly man going to do? And he jumps on New Saibot's head and cracks his neck in one go.
That was indeed a fatality. Wahoo! And I think it's time to break the neck of this episode of the BumbleKast, unless you got something else you want to add, Ian.
I just imagine with a little jaunty twirl of his cap. Ha ha! Let's go! Multiple fireballs to just get rid of the remains.
Nice.
I was just like, pack it up, going home.
Yep.
Never mind, test run failed. Still on for tennis next week, right? You got it.
Yep. And kart racing on Tuesday.
All right, it's good. Luigi can't bring that freaking Marvel hammer to the tennis court. All right, that's cheating. You're just scared. Yeah, I am. Put it away.
Yeah. Okay.
Now I'm done. Now
you're done. Okay, we're done.
Thank you so much to everyone who supports the show via patreon.com/BumbleKast, Ko-fi.com/BumbleKast, or by being a YouTube member. Be good to yourselves, be good to each other, cross over with other franchises responsibly, and we will see you next time on the BumbleKast.
Why would we start doing that now?
I'm saying it for other people. I'm a professional. I know how to handle this.
Oh.
It can be dangerous in the hands of novices.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, you get stuff like Rick and Morty, and then that never dies. Level check, 1212. Level check, 1212.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Can you keep up that energy for a whole show? I don't know.
We'll find out next time on Dragon Ball Z. All right. Give me the countdown, the go for whatever.
All right. You usually do the countdown, but all right.
Yeah, God. BumbleKast, May 21st, 2025, in 3, 2, 1. I don't remember last week, dude, so
That's okay.
I'll take you on faith.
I barely remember last week.
You've been listening to the BumbleKast, a co-production of Bumble King Comics and the KNGI Network. Original theme music composed by Ken Coda Snyder. Remixed intro by T-Lopes. Find out more information, along with podcast feeder links, MP3 downloads, and more at bumbleking.com and kngi.org.
You're hired as a game director for a Souls-like video game adaptation of Watered Down.
Nope.
Strong bad brain rot.